Hi, PerspectaWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, February 20th. It looks like accumulating snow is headed to the southern mid-Atlantic. Looks like the region from southeastern Virginia all across North Carolina, perhaps even into the upstate of South Carolina. There will be accumulating snow later today and tonight. Don't be surprised if this time tomorrow morning it's snowing in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and parts of that area can get 3 to as much as 6 inches of snow between late today and later on tonight, as a combination of lots of moisture and a cold air mass, a cold fresh air mass in the region will contribute to this accumulating snow event. It looks like can be snow showers as far north as, let's say, the southern suburbs of D.C., but again, it looks like the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor will escape without any snowfall of note. There are signs, however, for some more sustained cold air outbreaks over the next couple of weeks as we progress through late February into early March, and perhaps even a better chance at some snow in the I-95 corridor region. But let's focus in on the southern mid-Atlantic right now. Lots of moisture headed east to northeast right now across the southern U.S. into the Tennessee Valley right now. And again, it's cold enough right in this region right here, Virginia, North Carolina, for this to result in accumulating snow. And I think especially the eastern part of North Carolina into southeastern Virginia, there could be as much as 3 to 6 inches of snow by this time tomorrow morning. Stays in the clear in Philadelphia, New York City. Can be a few snow showers around in the D.C. metro region, but nothing much of note in that area. It's southern Virginia, North Carolina, and upstate South Carolina. Rain could even change over to snow as far south as, let's say, northeast Alabama, the southern part of Tennessee, with small accumulations possible late today, early tonight. Well, let's take a look at the 0Z operational run of the GFS. Again, we'll focus in on the short term, the accumulating snow event in the southern mid-Atlantic, and we'll take a peek at an interesting scenario possibly setting up for late next week in the mid-Atlantic region. First of all, we start off the day with strong, cold, high pressure centered over the northern plains and a ton of moisture down across the southern U.S. There have been flooding rains in recent days, places like Mississippi, and a lot of this moisture is now headed to the north and east, right into this cold air mass across Virginia and North Carolina. Let's push forward here. May begin as rain initially here in parts of North Carolina, but it won't take long for it to change over to snow with a little bit of enhanced upward motion. The dynamic cooling will take place in the atmosphere, and the initial rain should change over to snow in much of North Carolina by late today going into early tonight. Same thing across southern Virginia. Could start initially as rain but then change over to snow. And again, I think there's a possibility of 3 to 6 inches anywhere from southeastern Virginia down across all of eastern North Carolina, maybe even into the upstate of South Carolina, those higher elevation regions across the upstate of South Carolina. And this time tomorrow morning could be still snowing over the Outer Banks. So you'll see this kind of tends to linger here with some good snows here being produced by this low off the Carolina coast by later on tonight and even into early tomorrow morning. Again, don't be surprised to see snow all the way down to Hatteras this time tomorrow morning, as the snow will tend to linger. Again, eastern North Carolina, possibly up to half a foot of snow in some areas, and that could even extend up into the extreme southeastern part of Virginia. Just cold and basically dry from D.C. north and east to Philadelphia, New York City today, tonight, and tomorrow. There can be some snow shower activity in the D.C. metro region later today into early tonight, possibly mixed with rain at times, and that's primarily to the south and east of the district. Let's now move forward here. The weekend starts off cold, but as has been the case for much of the winter season, this cold air outbreak for basically today and tomorrow will modify rather quickly, and by the time Sunday, Monday roll around, we'll be back up in the 50s. And let's push forward here now into Sunday, basically a dry weekend with moderating temperatures. And the next weather maker of interest will be basically a cold frontal system with low pressure moving to the north and west. Looks like rain again next Monday night and Tuesday for the Mid-Atlantic region here as a cold front slides on by. Now let's push forward into the latter part of next week. That's when things do get somewhat interesting. It looks like low pressure will try to form along the Mid-Atlantic coastline, let's say next Wednesday night, early Thursday time frame. Still a week away, so a lot could change here, but this is a pretty interesting setup because at this same time we have cold air mass moving in from the northwest to the southeast into the Mid-Atlantic region. So this time period, next Wednesday night, Thursday, somewhat interesting. We'll continue to monitor this, of course, over the next several days. Well, let's take a look at some of the ensemble runs of the GFS from last night at 6Z, specifically looking at temperature anomalies and height anomalies going forward through the last week of February, next week, and into the early part of March. We're looking at 5-day averages here for 850 millibar temperature anomalies, and the main point I want to get across here is there definitely are some cold air outbreaks continuing to move into the Mid-Atlantic region over the next couple of weeks, and even some signs of a little bit more sustained cold air where it lasts more than just 1 or 2 days, but maybe 3 or 4 days. So that by itself increases the chance for snow in the I-95 corridor region. Again, we'll take a look at late next week. This is the current 5-day period, and then we warm up again ahead of that next cold frontal system. We get back to normal or above normal certainly by Monday and Tuesday of next week in the DC, Philadelphia, New York City corridor. Probably highs at in the 50s on Monday and Tuesday as that next cold front arrives. Now notice what happens here. We're now down out to days 4 to 8, February 23rd to February 28th, and again this is a 5-day average, so we could turn colder than this initial day here, since it's an average over a 5-day period. But watch what happens. It expands and kind of sticks around. This is now days 8 to 12. We're at the very end of February, going into the early part of March, and here we go. It sticks around here, days 9 to 13 now. Basically here, this is all the way into the beginning part of the month of March. So definitely some cold air outbreaks coming, and some signs of more sustained cold later next week, going into the first week of March. Well, one last set of maps here I want to show. This is from the ensemble run again from 6Z, the GFS ensemble. We're looking at 500 millibar height anomalies, and now we're jumping ahead to next Wednesday, Thursday time frame. Again, definitely an interesting setup possibility here that I'll have to monitor over the next several days. In addition to that cold air outbreak that we just talked about, and some sustained cold air later next week, we'll have a pretty decent wave in the upper part of the atmosphere. This is the 500 millibar height anomaly forecast map for late next Wednesday night. Push ahead into Thursday morning, and this is the time frame that we'll have to watch. Next Wednesday night, Thursday, in the Mid-Atlantic region. Quite an impressive upper level wave of energy to combine, perhaps to combine with a nice cold shot of air from moving in from the northwest to the southeast. Again, that's about a week away, and we'll focus in on that over the next several days. For today, an accumulating snow event from southeastern Virginia across the Carolinas all the way down to upstate part of South Carolina. There can even be some accumulating snow places like northeast Alabama, southern Tennessee later today, early tonight. But for the I-95 corridor region from DC north and east, escaping any snowfall of note. Can be a few snow showers later today in the DC metro region, but nothing significant. That's it for now. For PerspectaWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.